Hello, my name's Wes. I build model bridges. This is my first museum quality model. I have built other model train bridges before. Pardon my mess. Kind of hectic and busy lately, but the big one there is worth about $500 from what I found online for other model bridges, and the little tiny one about $90. This one I'm about to show you, I've put hundreds of hours of work in and had done a lot of research on it, and it is known as the McCleery-Walter covered bridge. Jessica Walter, her dad, I think it was Jim, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but let's say Jim Walter. He saved this bridge because he's a covered bridge enthusiast, and let's show her off. So in this crate here, because this is a museum quality crate, this model is worth about $3,000. I have put hundreds of hours of work into it. I constructed the roofing myself, all the pieces. So we'll pull the roof off. In here, all hand cut on my saw, and all of the tenons were filed by hand, were sliced out with a little hobby saw. You can see the construction here, very nice. Everything fits together real tight. The roofing is old cans. I think it looks really nice. So let's set this roof off to the side and actually check out the bridge. So, it is a king post bridge. I'll pull her out. It was made in the 1850s. The guy's last name that built it was not Walter, McCleery. His nickname was Blue Jeans. I actually have no clue about the guy. There's very little information out there. The name's on the top here and the reason that the roof comes off. This is the date it was saved. These are all the family members of Mr. Walter. His daughter Jessica had actually commissioned this bridge to be built. She had saw my other train bridges at one of the mall train shows that I went to. And we talked for a bit, and this bridge was literally just down the road from the train show, so I went down there and took a whole bunch of photographs and even bought a tape measure to measure things out, and, well, constructed a museum quality replica here. So part of what I did to make the roof come off is I actually suspended the ends with plexiglass, and they're attached directly to the ends of the posts. And everything is done exactly the way that the bridge was constructed in real life, even down to the joints. These joints are hand filed and connect together. I technically did not need to use glue because of how tight they were. However, I don't want this thing coming apart, so I did. The road bed is not glued down. It is only glued on these side pieces. When I first built this, before the humidity went up, this actually was able to slide in and out. So if the thing gets dry enough, this road bed should slide out, and you should be able to see bottom of the bridge without having to put it on its side. Yeah. You can see these joints better from the bottom there. I tried to use different colored wood as much as possible so that way you could see the joints well. Because when the joints are so tight like that, you can't tell whether or not they're original or not. So this original bridge was built out of American chestnut back in the 1850s, and when they had replaced the bottom cords, they were a new harder wood. See, chestnut is functionally extinct here in America because of a botanical garden in New York that had brought in some Asian chestnut trees that contained a sickness that these American chestnuts were very susceptible to. And although there are some chestnut trees still in existence, they are functionally extinct. They cannot breed, and they do extremely terrible because the sickness that's on these trees prevents them from reproducing and putting up new shoots. They only grow up so far before they kind of develop this like STD type thing, and it kills them off. The guy that saved this bridge was actually old enough to grow up having a chestnut tree in his backyard, and he remembers the day it had died. So it's a pretty cool thing. Apparently, Mr. Jim Walter and his wife had actually went all around the country, and I think even to different parts of the world, to photograph different covered bridges. And back in the 80s, he had the opportunity to save this bridge that was really close to where he lived because it was in a very bad condition, and they were replacing it with a new bridge. It sat for a few years, and as you can see, this is actually uneven. This was 90 feet long, and it's now currently 50 feet because the ends had rotted to the point that they had to completely remove them. So I believe there's like 1 or 2 sections missing from this side and several sections missing from this side, because being a king post design, the center of the bridge was like this. See, the difference between a king post and a queen post is a king post has this style, when a queen post has this, and then there's a flat bar going between them like that, instead of this setup. There are countless different setups for bridge designs. These were very common in this area because Mr. Blue Jeans, that was his nickname, that had constructed these bridges, were a prominent builder in the area at the time. Yeah, it was during the Civil War that this was made. I can't even begin to imagine the amount of foot traffic this thing has had over the years. After all, it has been over 150 years, and hundreds of thousands of cycles of cold to hot from day and night. It's amazing that the bridge is in as good condition as it is. But yeah, we actually have a couple of these covered bridges near us down in Southern Ohio that I'd really like to begin constructing for a museum exhibit at the Southern Ohio Museum and Cultural Center. So if I could get people to buy these bridges from me, I'll be able to allocate the time to construct some bridges for that and have my own museum exhibit for people to enjoy for generations to come down in the museum in Portsmouth here. Plus, it'll be very good for bringing more people into the area to come and view some of our heritage. See, Southern Ohio has some of the best Native American heritage and history in the country. I mean, this was truly a very old town that Portsmouth is. It was started being inhabited in the 1700s. That's how long ago it was. One of our local teachers actually showed up here looking for a neighbor of mine and had started talking history with us, because she was looking for the neighbor that actually is the head of the chicken clubs here in Southern Ohio and poultry associations. But apparently George Washington had actually bought plots of land around here, and they had found some of the stones that were marked in the land as being property of our nation's founder. No, not founder, first president. Funny how a slip of the tongue can completely change the statement, but yeah. 700 pieces in this model, hundreds of hours of work. See, these other models that I have over there, the train bridge models, the big one took about 2 days to build in my off time, and the small ones were day projects. And like I said, the big one's about 500 and the small one is 90. I'm keeping these ones, however, I'm going to be producing more. The roof for the big one was another day on that, so technically I could say that that big one was a 3 to 4 day project. However, this one I have been building since spring, and it is now fall. So yeah, it took a lot of hours to put this together, between hand filing all the pieces to fit, and I mean, I even made this roof and I used a paper crimper on these aluminum cans to fold up the roofing, and I think it just came out perfect. So yeah, it is a 1/20th scale model of the real bridge. I think I've got enough experience now with these that if anybody actually wanted to have even a real bridge, if you lived in Southern Ohio, I could probably construct a fully functioning bridge that could haul a tractor over it very easily. I just need to get the tools to start doing that. So I hope you enjoyed this little video here. I really hope that some other people are interested in this. It would take me about 10 times as long to actually make any bridges for the museum if I don't have anybody who can actually help me with funding. I need a lot more tools to make this go better, and one of those that I really want is a 3D printer. The first bridge I want to build is only about 2 miles from me, so I can get as many measurements as I want, as frequently as I want. But it has a lot of new pieces that were added recently that were iron. I believe they put them on in the 40s or 50s, so that way the bridge could continue to be used as a living piece of history. So that bridge is over in Otway. This one is from Fairfield.